them coming back is a sign that there's hope, right? Because you thought it was over. You thought y'all would never speak again. Okay. All right. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your November soul session. I am Marlo. If you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. If you're not familiar with what, okay, my soul sessions are, apparently Libra has a message. They are your spirituality as well as personal development readings, okay? And we look at the energies that you guys may experience for a given month for the sole purpose of giving you clarity, insight, and guidance and all that good stuff and what's not, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So anywho, let's go ahead and jump into your cards since they're popping out of my hands and whatnot. First card that we have is the Temperance in the reverse. That is Sagittarius energy. Then we have the 10 of the Swords. Then we have my Petty LaBelle card. That is the 5 of Wands in the reverse. And then we have the 10 of the Swords in the reverse. So what it is looking like, Libra, leaving out of good old October, you guys' birthday season and whatnot, or whatever, and into November with this Temperance card, the first thing, of course, that comes to mind is emotional instability, if we're thinking in like a 3D kind of sense. But other than that, taking into account the fact that you guys are coming off of, the slide of your solar return and whatnot, and all of these karmic cycles that wrapped up for everyone in October, it could be either feeling a tad bit out of alignment with yourself or having trouble kind of re-engaging or aligning with those particular energies, especially if you're somebody who, takes your solar return / birthday very seriously. So say if there's like goals that you set or, just kind of a new journey that you intend to embark on for your birthdays and things, how it may feel for you all is just being kind of off kilter with yourself and not being able to kind of catch that wind, if you will. Now, with this 8 of Swords here, it's more or less like a mental block. It's feeling as if whatever it is that you guys desired to be a part of, or even if we look at it in the sense of, like I was saying, with that goal setting and stuff like that, it's more or less, I feel something transpired that kind of threw things off kilter. So it's like maybe in the beginning part of October, you guys were like hella excited and you had like an idea of how it is that you want to chart forward for the end of the year, or some sort of a vision or a concept of how you saw like this last quarter of the year kind of panning out, and something unexpected kind of happened. And now it's not really knowing how to fit this energy signature or this goal, this vision that you had with the current status of your life, right? Now, with this 5 of Wands in the reverse, it puts us into an energy of an inner conflict. So this is what I usually do this time of the year. This is how I typically handle things after my birthday, but I either don't have the resources in order to do so, or it's just not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? And it's a message I'm getting with that. Where, how can I say this? It's okay. If say Libra that you are in like you're married, or you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or y'all live together, something like that, because I feel this has to be like a really close relationship. And say if something less than stellar happened to like your partner, right? Like say, they had someone pass away, like a, sibling or parent or something along those lines. So it's kind of the person because I feel whoever this person is in very close proximity to you, right? So it's something that they're going through that is like heavy, right? Either like the loss of a loved one, or, maybe something really tumultuous with their life, losing their job or something like that. And it's like the person in close proximity to you, they're kind of in a somber kind of mood. So it feels almost like Libra is feeling guilty, if that makes sense, like feeling guilty for being happy, or for being excited or, you know, wanting to focus on what it is that you were focusing on. And I say that because with this temperance, in order for it to kind of throw you off kilter, this person would not only just have to be in close proximity to you. So I wouldn't necessarily say like a roommate. I mean, unless your roommate was like really, really sad or something like that. Like if your roommate just went through a breakup and you just got into a relationship type of thing. But I feel this sense of like a suppression. It's like it's not being able to be the fullness of what you desire to be at this particular time in the month of November because of someone close to you. But the thing that's ironic about it is it's not like a manipulation and control type of thing. So it's not like this person around you guys is making you not be excited. It's just more or less like with that being, you know, your friend or your loved one or whoever, it's like you kind of feel guilty for things going so well for you kind of vibe. And it's not really knowing what to do with that because it's kind of like a choice between you being really excited and this person you care about being hurt, right? Or, you know, them being okay and you kind of holding space for them and you kind of, you know, holding in this excitement for yourself, if that's making sense. But I want to go ahead and clarify this temperance in the reverse just so we can get a little bit more context. But going into this 10 of swords in the reverse, the thing with this is that, okay, that's interesting. With this 10 of swords in the reverse, what's interesting is, as far as how it is you guys are dealing with this, if we were to put this in the context of what happened last month, like this karmic cycle wrapping up, because what I've been telling pretty much the entire collective is like Spirit did Spirit's job last month, like putting a period at the end of the sentence. So there's absolutely no resistance that's working against us energetically. So the slate is pretty much clear. So if there's any resistance that we're coming into in the month of November, it's because there's a mindset that we need to change or a behavior that we need to change. And it's something that we need to recognize, right, in order to be able to change it. So it's something that's getting brought into our awareness. So what I've been seeing for all of the signs that I've done up to this point is more or less what I was kind of forewarning everyone about last month, which was the fact that the only way that the cycle that's wrapping up can repeat itself is if our mindset or our behavior doesn't change. Then we can recreate the past and the present and thus into the future, you know? So with this, it's a mindset that my Libras are still holding on to that needs to be released because the mindset is very intricately related to causing emotional instability and inner conflict with you. For some of you with this 5 of Wands in the reverse, it can be coming out as passive aggression. Those of you who are on the network in the weekly reading for the first week of November, that was the very first card that came out where I went in depth talking about passive aggression. So make sure you guys go back and watch that. But it's more or less, if I could say that, dude, that's really what this would be speaking to for me. It's more or less Libra needing to speak their truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I get the whole thing of like not wanting someone to feel bad, but I feel that this is kind of like a pervasive pattern and it's like a suppression of yourself because it's like the other person isn't making you do that. And I feel that the intention of why it is that you guys are holding back, it makes sense because it's showing that, you know, you care about this person and you don't want the person to feel bad. But I just feel for you guys it's throwing you off kilter and it takes you out of alignment with yourself because you're not behaving in a way that's authentic to you in so many words. So that's something you most certainly want to keep an eye on. But I want to clarify this temperance. If I could get these cards to work with me. Let's see what else we got going on here, my Libra friends. What is this temperance in the reverse about? Oh my. Oh, we have reunion. Oh, that's fascinating. That's fascinating, Libra. So for some of you guys, this literally could be someone, whoa, I picked this up with somebody else too, yeah. Was that Scorpio? Or what? No, that was Aquarius last month, I think. I can't remember, y'all. I had picked up the same energy. So for some of you guys, literally, and I'm gonna say this two ways, because for some of you, this is literally a person that's coming back into your life that causes this. And I'm hearing it in my head. I literally said this with a sign in October, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that was Aquarius. And how I was seeing it was more or less like you were okay with being single, really weren't looking for a relationship, and in comes like this person from your past type of deal. And then it's like you're trying to kind of figure out how to live your life as you were living it and what to do about this person. So it's kind of being in this conflict of you were anti-relationship, but it's like now there's the opportunity for one, and it's like, do I want to be in this relationship or do I want to stay being single? So I feel for some of you, that's what this conflict is related to. Like, should I trust this person? Is this a dark distraction? You know what I'm saying? And not really knowing what to do with it. On the other side of this, it comes into the same scenario I was saying with this being an inner struggle with Libra, right? Where, and for some of y'all, this could be having a parent that had to come live with you or something. Side note, but it goes back to what I was saying initially, aside from those messages where it's a reunion within yourself, right? It's a need to take this piece that's kind of suppressed that you have in a cage to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like being palatable for other people, if that makes sense, because that kind of expands this energy of how I'm seeing it, Libra. It's like, what you're doing for your partner, your friend, whatever, it's like that makes sense. You know, in theory, that makes a lot of sense because you're trying to be considerate of the other person, right? It's like they're sad, I don't want to be too happy because I don't want them to feel bad at the fact that something's working out for me and not working out for them type of deal, right? So I'm just going to be quiet about it. In theory, that seems like a great idea, right? But how this can become a pervasive pattern is, like I was saying, you guys coming disjointed with yourself, and this being something that you're compromising with in different areas of your life. So if we go to the scenario of you made a commitment to yourself, and this is just like the weekly, y'all, I'm not even joking. This is like you making a commitment to yourself that, you know, I'm going to focus on my healing. Like I just started going to therapy. I'm going to focus on my healing, my growth, my fitness, my health, right? And then this person comes in and it's like, I've loved you since forever. And it's the thought of like, well, this is a one-time opportunity. Like I didn't know this person loved me, but I really wasn't focused on relationships right now, you know? And it's like, well, should I take a chance on it? And the whole theme for the weekly reading on the network was all about like how we betray ourselves with temptation. You know what I'm saying? Like something comes in, we have our mind set on something, something comes in as like a temptation, and it's tempting you to do something that wasn't even on your mind to do, but it seems like a really great idea in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, I mean, I could, but because one is already postured in this position of not speaking up for yourself or not asking for what it is that you want, or not, you know, behaving in alignment with how it is that you really feel to, you know, compensate for other people, that's where this could end up becoming a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because if we go into this whole theme of what's been happening with all the other signs, or like what I talked about with your Venetian brethren and sister in Taurus, right? Was when we attract what it is that we are, the reason why we want to make sure that we're temperance in the upright and not temperance in the reverse is because whatever our state is within ourselves, that's what we're going to end up drawing in. So if Libra is suppressing, come on, autofocus. If Libra is suppressing a facet of themselves, like I'm really happy, I'm excited, I got this job, I'm really excited, I lost 100 pounds, I'm really excited because my financial planner helped me out so great and my money's doing better. I'm really excited. I just got my dream job. I'm really excited. I had a great breakthrough in therapy. But you have someone in your life that you care about that isn't taking the steps that you're taking or took the steps that you're taking, and they're just in this season in their life where things just aren't working out. It's Libra making themselves small to compensate for that person. The thing I'm being told to say is, the thing you have to ask yourself is, with all of this modification that you do for yourself for that other person, would that other person do that for you? Is the question. It's like, if you were down in the dumps and sad and things weren't working out for you, would the same person that you're suppressing yourself for suppress themselves for you? You know what I'm saying? So that's an important thing to take into account. Another thing that's even more important is looking at your energy signature. So if Libra is allowing themselves to not be temperance upright and is electing to be temperance in the reverse to benefit another person, right? That's your energy signature. Like, that's the posture that you're taking. Now, with you taking that posture, you're taking on all of that energy of that particular signature, right? You're drawing that into you, and it causes you to be feeling as if you're in a mental prison, not knowing how to move forward, having inner conflict, and not really knowing how to, start a new beginning. Because it's almost like you taking on the energy of the person that's around you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and I hate to compare it to this, but it's almost like a cancerous cell. It's like you should be the cell of joy, right? But you're operating in the signature of suppression. So because you become suppression for someone else's sake, now you're drawing more suppression into you. You feel what I'm saying? So the whole thing with this here is about you guys coming into alignment with yourself. And I even say, dude, you have to think about the people that you're dealing with too, because, and this is something I hate to, toot my own horn, thinking about like my staff and stuff. It's like, but I mean, everyone on my staff pretty much understands like, the cycles in life and things of the sort. But there's times, like, especially over the last year, where like I've been in a good place, but then stuff will like start sucking for me. Like other people will be in a really dope place. But the thing is, we all encourage each other. So I'm sorry, y'all, I have the sniffles. Like, long summer has stopped in New Orleans, so it's a whole ordeal. But anyway, but we all support each other. So it's never a thing of like, if somebody gets like a big contract or something and the rest of us don't get one, that they have to not be extremely overjoyed and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Because you're not going to get any like side eyes where people are like, can you just stop talking about that? Like, dang, you know what I'm saying? So you also have to be cognizant of the people that you're around. But I feel with this Libra, I don't feel that this is being highlighted in you guys' energy because of just this particular situation. I feel the reason why this is being highlighted is because this is happening in this situation because this is a posture you've taken for a while. You feel what I'm saying? The reason why it's coming up now is because this is the main thing that causes a lot of repeated patterns. That causes a lot of repeated patterns throughout the course of your life. So Spirit is highlighting this now, not just because of this particular situation with this person, but because this is something that one needs to deal with. Now, if we get into the astrological side of this, Venus is starting its pre-shadow phase this month, and it's like the 17th of November, but Venus doesn't actually go retrograde until December. But it's a lot of people in the month of November, specifically when we start getting in to the third week. But because you're a child of Venus, and I'm saying that because this Temperance card is here and what the Temperance card represents to me, because you're a child of Venus, Libra as well as Taurus is going to start feeling this needing to reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate our values, reevaluate, what we're manifesting into our life and things of the sort. And I feel you guys were already doing that in October because of it being your solar return. But we're going to kind of pick up the waves of that before everyone else does, just because, Venus is our mama and things, you know what I'm saying? All right. So it's totally normal for you guys to be kind of picking up on this. But I look at with this Temperance card, why it's so important, especially with that coming out first for you guys, is last month, what we were talking about is transcending a timeline. I always talk about the two sides of the Likert scale, right? So we master both sides of that Likert scale, but the only way to transcend it, like to get to another level, is to transcend going upward out of that timeline, right? But how does one do that, right? With Venus retrograde, one has to descend in order to ascend, right? So ever since September, literally, like not even just October is when these karmic cycles wrapped up, but ever since September is when the energy shifted for the entire collective. And the purpose of the energy since September has been for the entire collective to begin a descent, right? Proverbially, I call it you descending to your ninth circle of hell, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the time of the year where we're doing our personal work and stuff. So since September, it became this descent. And the purpose of this descent is to recognize things like this one thing that's holding us back, like old behaviors that for some of us may stem all the way back to childhood, for us to look it in the mirror and recognize it. And once we recognize it and we see this within ourselves, we're able to transcend, right? Like ascend to transcend that particular timeline. So that's why this is more or less coming up for you guys. So the thing that I want to say is, don't focus too much on, like feeling like, oh, I know this is about like this particular person. Let me just cut them out and block them. Nah, it's not about that. This is about recognizing this pattern in yourself and letting you know you don't have to do that. Because truth be told, whoever this is speaking about, the person never asked you to do that. You know what I'm saying? The person never said, hey, Libra, I know you just got this whole new job and things, your dream job, you've been working real hard. I know you're happy and excited, but can you just not be happy or excited around me? Can we just like not talk about the fact that you worked so hard to get this job? Because, I'm still at this job I hate, so if you could just be quiet and just mirror reflect my energy, that would be great. So the person didn't ask you to do that. It's just the reason why Libra did it is because that's what you're used to doing. Right. And 9 times out of 10, that probably comes from a past relationship, or it comes from your family dynamics of that's what you knew to do in similar situations. So Spirit is just kind of trying to break you guys out of this particular thing. And I would say the same, a whole thing I went off on in Taurus's reading is I was speaking about our north nodes and our south nodes, right? And my south node is in Libra. Now, whatever your south node is, it doesn't necessarily have to be in Libra, but whatever your south node is, if you want like some insight into a lot of the stuff that you've been working out this particular year, and probably every year of your life, honestly, it lies in your south node. Like that's past life karma. So a lot of the lessons that all of us have experienced in our lives up to this point, they have the themes and the elements of whatever our south node is. And the way to combat these lessons or to unlock them is through your north node. So it's using your north node as like tools, if you will, or an approach in order to combat this karma of the south node. And with me being a Libra south node, like what it is that I'm seeing in you guys' cards, this is very much like a karmic lesson of Libra South Node people. It's, overcompensating. It's codependency. It's making yourself small to, compensate for other people. It's like, it's not really so much about your feelings because of course you look at the sign Libra, what does it want to do? It wants to create harmony and wants to create balance, right? So even with this 5 of Wands in the reverse, you guys sacrifice your sense of inner stasis or your sense of harmony, stability, security, right? For the benefit of other people. So you kind of will step down. Like if you stepping up or being the fullness of yourself causes any kind of incongruence or conflict, Libra will be the person to say, you know what, let me just bow out and be quiet and just sit over here in the corner. So everything is kind of easy. Don't want to rock the boat too much. You know what I'm saying? So it's a natural inclination to want to do that just to keep the peace. But even though one is desiring to keep the peace, which I say is very admirable, Libra, it's the fact that it's hurting you in the process. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily beneficial for you, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind. So let's see what else we have for you guys. Okay, there it is. We have the 4 of the cuppies. Oh, thank you, autofocus. You're being such a good girl today. I'm just so proud of you. Look at you, girl, showing these cords and things. Go ahead, Mom. Let me just rub my camera right quick. Give it some positive motivation. Thank you. I appreciate you, camera. You're doing a great job. Girl, you doing a good job. Girl, you doing a good job. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sorry, Libra. Moving right along. So you guys have the 4 of the cuppies. So here's the thing. This is an energy of apathy, right? So I spoke about this in somebody's reading. I can't remember who, when I was talking about the disembodied hand. The whole key is here, Libra, what I'm seeing, and this is coming into like the first 2 weeks of the month, there's the potential that you guys can reach an energy of stagnation to where it's like you can't go backwards, right? But then you can't move forwards either. Like you don't know what the next thing is. But here's the tea, right? It's not intended to be that way. Now, if we were to put this into the process of a pattern that Libra may often find themselves in, where it's like you're going on with life, you're skipping along, you're, excited about the future, and suddenly you just find yourself stuck, right? And it's having no clue how it is that you get here, feeling like you're in an impossible situation and you have no clue how to get out of it, right? I feel this is kind of when Libra wakes up, right? So all of this stuff has happened. So let's say that, okay, this is our energy coming out of October and into November. Say if we backtrack a little bit and we're thinking like, last 2 weeks of September, first 2 weeks of October, and you guys being lit on fire, excited, about what's to come, right? And you're just living life every day. And then the next thing you know, in November, you just feeling like this and you have no idea why. It's like, I know what I want. Like I was saying in the beginning, it's like, I know what I want to do. I know like what my goals were, but it just don't feel right. Like the timing doesn't feel right. Like I just feel so out of alignment. Like it's just, right? And you're just feeling out of sorts with yourself. The thing I feel Spirit is showing y'all is you're completely oblivious to this process that got you here. It's almost similar to how negative thoughts work, right? So you're at work, something happens, somebody says something, or you overhear something, and you like, what, right? Next thing you know, a couple of hours later, you're like in a full-on depression, just sitting at your desk, and like you're just having a bad day, and you don't know where it came from. It's like, I was fine. And it's like, I don't know, just out of nowhere, I just started feeling like, crap, right? I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but there's 2 reasons that happens, Libra. One of them is astrological, right? The first reason why that happens sometimes out the blue, where it's just like, what is my life? What am I doing? Like, why am I here? None of this makes sense. This is never going to work. One of those reasons is that it's probably during the time of a void of course moon. You know what I'm saying? And during a void of course moon, there are several of them throughout the course of a month. But during a void of course moon, like it's almost like your life force just gets sucked out of you. Either you'll get really tired or just everything in your life just stops making sense. Okay, so that's reason number 1. The second reason is because it's a whole mental process. If we put this into the context of like negative thinking, like a negative thought reel, that's how it works. Like all of our negative thought reels are so like, subconscious, they're so automatic that we won't even notice that, we're doing it. So it's kind of like if we overhear someone, in another cubicle that's just like, girl, I don't know why she wore them shoes, right? And you had put some shoes on today because you was rushing and you was feeling kind of insecure about them, and you overhear someone talking about, girl, I don't know why she wore those shoes. Like she need to put those in the back of the closet and forget they ever existed. Okay. Right. Now, mind you, they wasn't even talking about you, but it's just the simple fact that Libra felt a sense of insecurity for wearing those shoes because they really didn't want to wear them, but that's all that they could find, right? So now that triggers a thought reel where it's like, I can't stand this place. People always talking about me. Not saying you're literally thinking like this. This is all hypothetical to give you an example, right? It's like people always talking about me. And it's like, I hate this place. These people so low vibrational. And it's like, I always just be trying. And then it's like, oh man, I forgot my water bill due. And oh, this stupid job with stupid check. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to be able to pay this water bill. And it's like, why does always happen? Like, see, I thought stuff was going good. It's like, oh, here's your birthday money, Libra. You should go do something nice for yourself. I go do something nice for myself. Now, all of a sudden, my water bill 3 times higher than it ever been before, right? You doing all this while you type it on your computer, right? Couple hours later, next thing you know is you're just in a funked out mood and don't know why. And it's all because of this process that happened behind it. So now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like completely out of sorts with myself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to move forward, but it's not paying attention to what it is that you're thinking, right? Because it's automatic. Now, of course, it's a technique. It's a skill that we have to learn. It isn't easy, but mindfulness meditation, like I know people be talking about like meditating and listening to these little like vocal things and all of that. And that can be helpful to a certain extent, but see, like the kind of meditation that helped me with my mental health, like on my journey, it's like mindfulness, like true mindfulness, like sitting with oneself and like watching your thoughts, like not listening to music or frequencies or anything like that, because all of that stuff is just provoking your human, But it's like to really unlock your mind, it's a need to sit in complete silence and learning to gain dominion over the mental space. So that's something that you guys can incorporate to help you with your thought health. But I feel it's a lot of like, it's a whole process that's happening behind the scenes for my Libras that you're not realizing. You know what I'm saying? It's just all of a sudden you get into a funk and you're not sure why that is. But the reason for it is it's triggered by a thought reel. You know what I'm saying? Looky there. The next card we have is, oh my gosh, my autofocus is just loving us today. Come through, Libra energy. Thank you for balancing the scales of this lens. Hallelujah. Amen. All right. Anywho, we have the 9 of Swords in the reverse. So of course, this is about anxiety. It's about insomnia. It's about intrusive thoughts and things of the sort, right? So this is literally showing me like a day in the life of Libra sometimes, dude. It's like we overcompensate for another person. We want to keep the peace. We sacrifice ourselves in the process, right? That removes our clarity. We're drawing in more energy in this frequency that we decided to descend down into, right? If you a fighter, Libra, meaning you got a little bit of fire in your chart somewhere in your sun, moon, horizon, then you may resort to passive aggression. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can't speak up and speak my truth right now for this particular reason. However, I'm going to let you know, inadvertently that I am not happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you doing, Libra? I'm fine. You sure? What's wrong? Nothing. You all right? Oh yeah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. You sure you good? Mm-hmm. I'm fine. Why would you think I'm not fine? Do I not seem fine to you? Right? Like doing stuff like that. But the whole thing is, Libra, this is speaking to you guys, speaking your truth. So this is about you guys living your truth and speaking your truth and saying, F them people. I was saying that in the chat, like for the premiere, when we were talking about North Nodes and South Nodes, it's like, dude, you got to say F them people. Right? It's like, this is your life. This is your world. Granted, like I said, in theory, I get it. It's caring about other people, especially if you're an empath. Is you caring about other people and not wanting to hurt other people's feelings, but it's putting you into a position of walking on eggshells, because it comes to a point in life when we have to understand that other people are adults, and adults need to communicate. They need to speak their feelings. They need to express themselves, right? Adults need to deal with their shit. So it's not your responsibility to walk on eggshells because a person is emotionally immature and doesn't know how to handle their emotions, right? Like that's not your responsibility to do so. Of course, we want to be supportive of people that we love in our life and things of the sort, but you don't want to jeopardize yourself in the process of making yourself small to benefit other people, because a lot of times other people may not do that for you. You know what I'm saying? So the whole key is here, Libra, with this 9 of Swords in the reverse, what does this go back to? Why one is having trouble sleeping, why one is feeling anxious. It is, okay, look, I just talked really good about you, homegirl. Don't you dare. Okay, all right. But with this, it's like all of this comes back to this card. It's like the reason why one is trapped in this insomnia or has intrusive thoughts or is like anxiety riddled is not knowing how to move forward, not being able to see clearly. And it's because one has detached from their emotional space. Like there has to be a reunion between your mental space and your heart space, right? For some of you guys, this could be trauma related as to why you vacated your heart space. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the only way you know how to relate to people is thinking logically. It's like trying to being hyper vigilant in the sense of awareness, because a lot of times that's what happens with people who are empathic, where you're very, very aware of your surroundings, the people that are around you. If a person's mood shifts in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you recognize it before anyone else. And it's this hyper vigilance of always trying to, mend fences. Like, oh, something's wrong, or they're feeling away. Like, okay, let me try to balance this out. You know what I'm saying? But that's too much responsibility for one person. And a lot of times the root of this is in one's family of origin. Like things in the household when you were young were very like up and down. Like you had a parent where you didn't know, and sometimes this could be the same way in like a romantic partnership or a marriage. It's like you didn't know who was coming home that day. It's like depending on how the wind blew, sometimes nice mommy or daddy would come home. Sometimes, sad mommy or daddy would come home. Sometimes angry mommy or daddy would come home. Or the same thing if this is your romantic partner, like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's like, it's no telling who gonna come home. So whenever you hear their car pull up, it's like you go into like a state of duress. It's like you freeze. And it's like, all right, I need to watch my surroundings. I need to see if they throw the bag on the ground or if they're gonna lightly tap it. If they don't say good evening, then they probably not in, a good mood. So I got to make sure, okay, my room is clean. We got this in order. So it's getting programmed to walk on eggshells, right? So with you being conditioned to behave that way, it's the same posture that you're taking with people. But like I said, this is an external influence that's robbing you of your peace. You know what I'm saying? Because it's, oh, wow, what is that saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I think I said that right. That's like what I'm seeing with this, Libra. If I were to like sum this up, it's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's like what it is you guys are doing is very good intention, but it's leading you to a road to hell, not like literal hell, like eternal damnation kind of hell. But I mean, like, just being stuck in your mind in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So it's putting your feelings, your emotions, your desires on the back burner for the benefit of other people. And that's just not fair to you, So I feel what Spirit's really saying to you guys this month is the need to make yourself a priority, because you deserve that. You know what I mean? And this is a cycle you guys are supposed to be coming out of. And just looking at this dude, like the 3 sword cards that we have here, the 10 of swords in the reverse, beating a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? That's something that should be left in the past. Beating a dead horse, or, relying on your mind to give you the solutions that your heart space, meaning your heart space, your connection to spirit, should be giving you. You know what I'm saying? Is what's keeping you trapped in this proverbial mental prison that's preventing you from seeing the possibilities that are available to you, or preventing you from seeing blessings that are coming to you in disguise. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost as if the only thing that Libra sees is a desire to be happy. It's like where I wasn't happy there. right now I'm feeling kind of meh, but what I want in my future is happiness. I want to be happy in the future. I want joy in my life. And the thing that spirit is saying is, I hear you, because you be saying that a lot, my child, right? I'm trying to give it to you, but the only place that you're going to find that is in the present moment. And in the present moment, there's a need to make a choice. All of this stuff is symptoms of the deeper issue of spirit, of Libra not being in alignment with themselves, right? So I feel for the former part of your life, Libra, you guys played second fiddle. It was always you guys caring about everybody else and their mama. You know what I'm saying? Making everybody else a priority. When you realize that you were being taken advantage of, your next thought was, because that's one side of the Likert scale, your next thought was, ain't nobody got time for all of that. Libra about to focus on Libra, right? Libra gonna do for Libra what Libra needs. However, how one was conditioned in that past form of the timeline is still very much a part of who you are. So someone who is overtly a jerk, someone who's overtly trying to take advantage of you, Libra ain't got no time for that. But the Achilles heel of Libras is people who are close to them that they really care about, right? Wanting to be a good friend, wanting to be a good boyfriend, wanting to be a good girlfriend, wanting to be a good husband, wanting to be a good wife, wanting to be a good sister, brother, aunt, uncle, what have you. Want to be a good mom or dad, whatever the case. So Libra ends up regressing back into who they were back in the day. You know what I'm saying? With people who are near and dear to their heart. So Libra will only self-sacrifice for people who they know truly love and care about them. They won't do that for no stranger like it was back in the day, because y'all learned that lesson. But because that wound wasn't really healed, and I talked about this in the weekly, y'all, when I talked about just blocking people, right? Like, oh, you no longer deserve access to me, you blocked, right? That's what the lesson was that Libra learned on this side of the Likert scale, is people who take advantage of me in the past, they don't deserve access to me. So bam, I'm going to block them. So that's those overt people who try to take advantage of you, right? Like taking your kindness for weakness. So you moved over here, but the key is when you moved over to this side of the Likert scale, here you wore your heart on your sleeve. Now you don't wear your heart on your sleeve anymore. And I said this with another sign. I look at the Four of Pentacles. When you come to that place where you wore your heart on your sleeve and someone takes advantage of it, you cut off your heart space, your heart chakra to the external world. But when you cut your heart off from others, you're also cutting yourself off from it, and thus cutting yourself off from spirit. So your intuition gets kind of spotty and your discernment gets kind of spotty. You know what I'm saying? So your heart chakra becomes either, well, more than likely in the past, it was overactive, right? And now with cutting stuff off, it becomes underactive. You feel what I'm saying? So the issue with this is, but it's all a part of this journey, is you're supposed to have your heart on your sleeve, get, messed over or whatever. You're like, all right, I ain't letting nobody in no more. You come to this side of the Likert scale and you're like just all cerebral mental energy, ain't no open bleeding heart for nobody, ain't none of that. Ain't nobody got time on this side of the Likert scale. But because that initial wound wasn't healed, that little Libra still exists inside of you. So the only time this little Libra that overcompensates gets tapped into is when it's a person in Libra's life that they know truly loves and cares about them. Because it's the thought of, I know this person loves me, they won't take advantage of me, right? And it's not saying the people in your life are taking advantage of you. What it's saying is how Libra is taking advantage of themselves, because it's an overcompensating. So you're trying to create a balance, but the only way that you know how is from the past, which was make myself really small, right? Not speak my needs so that I don't hurt this person that I love, or I don't make them feel bad, or I don't make them feel uncomfortable. So let's make me real, real small, right? Now, this other person may not even be aware of this, may not even want you to do this, but that's all you know, right? Because all we know is these two sides of the Likert scale. We have no other perspective of another way on how to handle things. Hence the reason why there's a need to transcend that timeline. When we transcend it, then we're able to overstand a situation, right? When we descend, we're able to understand a situation, which means we have to face the self. So we're going through now with this Venus retrograde, and what we've been being prepared for as a collective since September is this descent into the proverbial underworld of oneself, right? So you're descending into the self to really take account of decisions and choices you've been making, to, reflect on the emotions that have been coming up. And as you're going through this descent, at the end of this journey is when you proverbially face your Judas in the mirror. That Judas in the mirror is the little Libra who was conditioned to overcompensate because of being in an adverse situation where there were consequences. Whenever a person was angry, mad, or whatever, Libra just needed to hide in the proverbial closet and just be quiet and not talk too much, not cause too much conflict, not ruffle any feathers, right? But Libra thought they healed that by going to this side of the Likert scale and not being that person anymore. It's like, I'll be doggone if I ever let somebody do that to me again, right? But that didn't really solve the problem. It just switched one for another. But the downside of it is it created a disunion within oneself. So it's now being all cerebral, no heart. Not saying that you don't have a heart, but I'm saying this, proverbially speaking. So it's being all cerebral, no heart, no emotions. So when Libra is making decisions about things, it's very logical, clear cut, straight to the point. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, that person is, narky, they're manipulative, boop, bye, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? But it's still never dealing with reconciling that feeling. But that person is still very much a part of you. But like I said, it only comes out with people that truly love and care about you, right? Is when that authentic self comes out, and it's not about people taking advantage of it. Again, because like I said, how Spirit is showing this to me, that's why I was like, it's not even about the current situation that you're in. What Spirit is highlighting is this process that Libra is in of you overcompensating by making yourself small because that's all you know to do. So what the point of this month would be, my wonderful Libras, is coming back to the center of this Likert scale, descending into oneself, meaning if you're listening to this wonderful soul session here and you're like, dang, I'll be doing that right there. Like, that's me. I can see that. Okay, keep going, lady. Keep going, right? If you recognize it within yourself, then this means this is a journey that you're going to be starting this month all the way until, Venus goes retrograde and, goes direct in January, right? And this would be something that you would want to set an intention with to release under the Scorpio new moon so that you guys can, have this upright. So this can be a transformation, because in the reverse, of course, it's resisting a transformation. You know what I'm saying? And when that's released, your temperance is upright and you guys are balanced to transcend this timeline. And of course, on the 19th with the Taurus full moon, which is going to be cray cray because it's a partial lunar eclipse, this is a process that can be eclipsed out of your life. So it's something you want to release under the full moon. The forgiveness exercise you would want to do for the full moon would be in reference to forgiving yourself, right? Clarifying your values, living in accordance with them, regardless of what's going on around you, right? And it's continuing this journey into 2022, working this out. So it's not saying that in the month of November that you guys have to have this all figured out. I've been telling everyone, it's only about recognizing it, right? It being brought into your awareness. So this soul session introduces you to, an energetic pattern, right? If it resonates with you, it's only relevant if it resonates with you, right? If it resonates, now it's been brought from your unconscious, right, into your conscious awareness. One can recognize the pattern and say, dang, I do that. And the only thing that is required of you to take advantage of these good old energies is just to accept, you know what, I do that. I don't want to do that anymore. And I would like to start the journey of starting to rectify this, right? Of overcoming this, because I don't want this to be a part of me. That's all that you have to do to be able to take advantage of all these good energies. You know what I'm saying? That are here to benefit you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that this makes sense, Libra. I feel, oh God. I always do this with these cards. I'm trying not to start an avalanche, y'all, because the deck I feel I need to pull from you guys, it's at the bottom of like all of these cards. Okay. I'm gonna pull two for y'all. But I hope that this makes sense. But this is literally the process, Libra. But I mean, I think it's beautiful because it puts you in a position of power going forward, you know, because like I said, it's not really so much about the people that are around you, you know what I'm saying? And granted, I know everybody is in different situations, but how Spirit is showing this to me, it's not really so much about the people that are around you. I mean, unless with this reunion, like I said in the beginning, that this is a person that's coming back from your past. If this is a person that's coming back from your past, a Sagittarius person that's coming back from your past, I will most certainly watch out for that, because if all of this stuff I've been talking about this inner conflict, like as soon as this person came back, suddenly you started feeling emotionally off. What used to be very clear to you on how to move forward suddenly isn't so clear anymore. You're feeling an inner unrest with yourself, like something just feels really off. And like what was once clear is no longer clear. You're having trouble sleeping, you're having nightmares, all kinds of stuff. This would be like somatic kind of warnings. Like this would be like trauma response in your body, of your body trying to tell you something about this person is off, even if they're laying out the red carpet for you and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is like in like subtle body response to this person, you know? So I'm saying specifically for my Libras, if you guys were on a very clear path, suddenly someone from your past, right, ends up coming back. And this doesn't even have to be somebody that you dated before. Like this could be someone that's an old friend. You know what I'm saying? Like an old friend from high school or somebody that you used to work with. It could have not even been romantic between you and this person. But it's the fact of, if it's a new person that came into your life and suddenly you just been feeling really strange and off kilter, or I feel like I need to say this, if this is someone that you've been going on dates with and you have to drink before you hang out with this person, because like you just feel so off when you're around this person that you literally got to take like a couple of shots or drink a glass of wine before you hang out with this person. All of these are your gut trying to tell you that something isn't, how does that quote go? Something isn't ripe in the buttermilk, or something isn't right in the buttermilk, however it goes. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, something is amiss here. So if this does involve another person, I still say everything I talked about with this inner process is still very relevant to you guys. If this is a new friend or a new roommate, or, you know, a new romantic partner or whatever the case, if prior to this person coming in the picture, you weren't feeling any of these things, passive aggression, not being able to see clearly, feeling trapped in your mind, like you're going in circles, feeling a little emotionally off, you can't sleep, you got anxiety and all this other kind of stuff. If all of this stuff manifested after this person came into your space, there's something with this person that isn't quite, you know, on the up and up. If that's making sense. I hope that that's making sense. Which kind of, look, y'all, hold up. I love how whole other messages come at the end. I just want to, I'm a clarify the clarifier. Just with that scenario that I just saw, I want to clarify this reunion card just to try to get some more insight into this particular person. If this is just dealing with a person. But what I want to say before I do that, even if Libra, this is talking about a specific individual, right? Like a person that's coming in, everything I said about this inner process with Libra is still very relevant to you, right? It's still extremely relevant to you and your situation, because with or without this person, that's still the inner process that's happening. So as opposed to a friend who didn't get their job and you got the job, and you suppressing yourself so you don't make them feel bad. It's like you going on a date with a person where you feel extremely uncomfortable and anxious around them, and you have to drink before you hang out with them. That's another form of suppressing yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, I don't want to be weird while I'm there, or I'm not really that talkative, so let me take a couple of drinks to loosen up. That's still a form of suppressing yourself. But I want to get some insight into this person, if this is a person that's coming back from y'all past. Oh, oh my goodness, we have the hope card. So here's the thing. With this particular person, Libra, and I'll say it two ways for you guys, with this hope card being here, we want to make sure that this is not false hope syndrome, which means, because all of you who are on the network, we're doing this, this Venus retrograde, like deep dive, right? So that's what we're doing over on the network. Those of you who are doing that deep dive, I already told you guys yesterday, everyone needs to watch, right? The Libra soul session and the Taurus soul session and the extendeds, right? Because there's going to be messages in both of those that's going to speak to everything that we're going to be doing during this whole, like, us descending to us and type of process with this retrograde, right? So what we talked about a lot in Taurus, which is why Libra, even if you don't have it in your chart, why I would tell you guys to watch it too, is because we talked about this whole false hope syndrome type of deal, right? And with you guys specifically, with this particular person coming back, there's two ways that we could look at this, right? I'm only seeing it one way. However, I'm saying there's two ways we can look at this, right? With this person that comes back, it's like hope restored, right? I feel if this is a person romantically that pops back up, and they would be popping back up probably like the end of October, beginning of November, it seems borderlining on the miraculous, right? Probably when you came to a place where, like I said, it's like, I'm not gonna worry about love. I'm just gonna focus on myself, my healing, all this other kind of stuff. And then in comes this person, So this person is coming in where it's almost as if hope is restored, right? Like, wow, I may really be able to, fall in love with this person, or, be able to be friends with this person, whatever the case, you know what I'm saying? But the thing you want to keep in mind is, even though this person is coming into your space like this, they came back. So them coming back is a sign that there's hope, right? Because you thought it was over. You thought y'all would never speak again, right? But if they're back, then that means there's hope in this situation. If this transpired, and I'm saying this specifically just for people where the energy you guys are dealing with in November is specifically, because I'm not saying this in a sense of someone that you just met. This is only for people where this is somebody from your past that came back, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a friend, whatever. But it's this hope restored because this person you never thought you'd see again, that you'd never speak to again, is suddenly back in your space, right? But the key signifier is here. Prior to this person coming back, Libra was very, very clear on who they were, what they were doing, and where they were going. You had a plan, right? So now this person comes back. There's hope of this reunion, hope of restoring the friendship, hope of restoring, what could have been, whatever the case. But now in the month of November, after this person comes back, you suddenly realize that your energy is just off, and you have no idea how you got here. But the key is, all of this started after this person suddenly came back. So even though there's nothing overtly that they're doing, there's nothing overtly that they're saying, it's just that, you feel kind of like, or you feel like you have to not talk about the good stuff because they're not in so much of a good place, or you got to drink to hang out with them type of stuff. or there being a distraction in what it is that you were working on, those are things that you want to be conscious of, right? Because I feel how this can play out is one would put a lot of weight on the fact that this person is back, telling yourself things like, if they didn't want to be with me, they would have never come back. Because it's like, if you're not interested in me, like, why call? Like, why send me an email? Why DM me? Right? So there must be some sort of hope that this person has in us being together. But I feel with this person, it may not follow a very linear kind of pattern, right? So that means the person hits you up, but they don't ever call and, say like, hey, let's go on a date, or, let's hang out. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like there's this reintroduction, and it's kind of limbo. Like there's not really any moving backwards. There's not really any moving forwards. There's not, any clarity in the situation, right? And it's more or less this person comes in and gets you stuck on pause, because now it's a fear of, well, I was going to take that job in this other city, right? Or, I was going to do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? I was going to go get my tubes tied, but it's like, should I really do that now? Because like this person, like there's hope of this, and now it's that same overcompensating where Libra isn't doing what you desired to do because of another person coming into the fold. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the other way that I can see this, if this is involved with another person, but at the heart of it is still that same energy signature. It's still that same, making yourself small for the benefit of someone else. You feel what I'm saying? So keep that in mind, Libra. Dang, child, I'm probably gonna have to say that somehow, because right before we did the oracles, we had a whole nother love message that came out. That is so fascinating. So anywho, let's go ahead and get you guys a surrender cord. How long is this reading? We have surrender to the magic of who you are. Come on, autofocus. You was doing so good, boo. And it says, we all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. Amen to that, Libra. Y'all are freaking dope just the way that you are. You do not need to shift or change a thing about yourself for other people. You know what I'm saying? So let's see, Heather. We're going to get a little angel oracle. And I'm going to let you guys go be great. Right. One card for Libra spirit. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Entrepreneur. Self-employment suits your disposition and intentions. Working for yourself allows you to better follow your intuition and divine guidance. We are your co-workers and teammates who remain loyally by your side to ensure your success in all ways. Child, if that idea that you had that y'all wanted to act on was starting that business, you better do it. Don't you let no dark distraction stop you from being blah. I can't talk, from being great, Libra. Dag nabbit, son of a gun. I don't know what just came out of my mouth. Don't y'all dare judge me. But anywho, my wonderful Libras, I'm going over to my network and Vimeo, Patreon, YouTube members, all the places, to do you guys extended, where we're going to look at the energies week by week in the week of November. And we're going to play these out. And we're also going to take a sneak peek into December. So if you bought that life, follow me on over there. But if not, I still love your freaking face, Libra. And I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.